Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about mental illness and why it's heavily used by a certain group of people. It is an alibi, ladies and gentlemen. This is why all of them are claiming it every time a crime is committed. It's an alibi. Now, why are they using this alibi? Because mental illness is classified as a medical condition. I robbed the bank because I got a medical condition. I killed that person because I have a medical condition. I killed that child because I have a medical condition. I'm a racist because I have a medical condition. Okay. That's what it is. So if you got this medical condition, then what you do out here, as far as crimes are concerned, is not really a crime because there was something wrong with you. Now, where did this come from? Probably the legal system, them having family and relatives and friends and people that they know in the legal system that told them this mental illness is a medical condition, and they just passed it around to every last one of their friends and relatives and so on and so forth. This is why every time a crime is committed, they're jumping on TV with this alibi that they all know and familiar with. Let's say mental illness, because if we say mental illness, it's a medical condition. It's not a crime. So what we do, that's not a crime. It was driven by the mental illness. But we know they're full of crap. And the reason why you know they're full of crap is because nobody else can use mental illness, just them. That's how you know they're full of crap. Now let's get into this. Serious mental illness is a medical condition, not a crime. See, there's a reason why this is titled that way. October 1st kicked off Mental Illness Week. For the first time in a long while, my family has some unreserved good news to share after years of battling the criminal justice system. To have his mental illness recognized, my son Danny finally had all criminal charges against him dismissed last month. The system sees him now as I see him, as a young man with a medical condition and not as criminal. That's why they use mental illness. But don't want anybody else to use it, just them. Danny's crime was lashing out while in a secure hospital after being in isolation and restrained at Napa State Hospital. It took 4 years for fear and uncertainty before the courts finally acknowledged that conduct arising in psychosis is not the same as a decision to commit a crime. Now, do you understand why they use mental illness for virtually every single thing? Mass shootings, robberies, child abuse, rape, everything. It may sound bizarre, but Danny is one of the lucky ones. Many serious mental illness enter the prison system where they are at high risk of victimization. Many more are placed in solitary detention for safety, and that's another reason. If they end up in the system, they scream mental illness and they stay isolated from the general population. It's all to keep them safe if in jail. And if charged with a crime, it is used for reduced sentences or get out of the crime altogether, just like old Danny boy here. Let's move on. When civil commitment standards require dangerousness before treatment can be ordered, we create a system that demands criminal behavior to get help. So they commit a dangerous crime or even a murder. And then once they're in the system, well, I'm mentally ill. I'm mentally ill. Now they can order treatment for me because I'm in the system. I'm mentally ill. When you can only get treatment behind bars, or when we charge a person with a crime when he acts out during a psychosis. So, this is what they're claiming when they say mental illness, no matter what crime they commit. They had a moment of psychosis. That's why they committed that crime in the first place. They had some psychosis episode going on. Okay. We are making it illegal to be mentally ill. No, actually, it's legal and it's always been legal. That's why so many people are claiming it. No one's mentally ill, ladies and gentlemen, until they get in trouble with the law. Then that's the only time they will admit they crazy and got problems. We have wrongly accepted this reality as the status quo. Yeah, pleading mental illness immediately after crimes, that is the status quo in America. Not for everybody, though. Sometimes advocating for people with serious mental illness can feel like an overwhelming job. But if we want to decriminalize mental illness, we can. Listen to what they're saying. One story at a time, one policy, and one law at a time can mean the difference between having a system that treats people with serious mental illness and one that punishes them for something they have no control over. I had a moment of psychosis when I robbed that bank. I had no control over it. That's what you're saying when you say mental illness, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know why they're using it like a motherfucker. Okay? For this mental illness, okay. So law enforcement, prosecutors, judges generally accept this mental illness thing. They accept that. Not from everyone, but they do accept that. So nothing you do is a crime, ladies and gentlemen. You had a moment of psychosis. That's why you committed that crime. Mental illness, mental illness. So as you can see, this person talking about their son said mental illness and all charges were dropped. It took a while, but still all charges were dropped. See, that's the goal of using mental illness after a crime is committed, is to ensure that the charges are dropped. And if you can't get out of it, the charges are reduced. I am not a criminal. I am mentally ill. I had a moment of psychosis. I had a moment of psychosis when I broke into that house. I had a moment of psychosis when I carjacked people. I had a moment of psychosis when I knocked that old woman over the head and took her purse. That was a moment of psychosis, mental illness. So now you understand, ladies and gentlemen, why it is so heavily used in American society by a certain group of people. It is a convenient way to get off of the hook for any crime committed, no matter how heinous it is or minor it is. It's always mental illness, period. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. So just remember, mental illness is an alibi that they are already taught to use out of the womb. Peace, family.